I did something naughty. Hey, what's going on? It's Matt. I have a big announcement to make. I'm very excited about it. It came on very, very suddenly. And it's, I got a kayak and I got a pedal drive kayak. And I'm going to talk about the kayak. I have it, it's right there. I kept my lure 11.5. I have full intentions of keeping it. You know, I'm still going to use it all the time when I go out into super shallow water. If I go do a river run up with Dean and Chris up in Oregon to fish for other species. So I'm going to definitely hold on to that. And if somebody comes in from out of town, I'll have an extra kayak that they can either pedal or paddle in. And I'm going to talk about in this video the kayak that I got. And I'm not going to go an overview on the kayak into real detail because it's not a new kayak. I bought a used kayak. And I bought a barely used kayak. And I want to talk real briefly about that. But first, let me just show you the kayak. Okay, so what you are looking at is a Wilderness Radar 135. It's in the gray color. It is the Helix pedal drive system. I picked this up today. I am super stoked. I've done absolutely no modifications to it just yet. Well, that's not totally true. I just added these on because I had them in the house. There's another one on the other side. Threw my soft plastics in there and literally took off about 900 stickers that were on there. Now, I've been on the market for a pedal drive and I keep telling people, oh, I'm not going to get this, I'm not going to get that. Because simply for the matter of the fact is the price just isn't right and I can't justify it. So, a few things. So Facebook happens to have a ton of different fishing forums that I belong to that are local to Northern California, and people are selling stuff all the time. I had narrowed down my kayak desires for a pedal drive kayak into 3 different kayaks. The Radar 115 was on that list. It had been for a very long time, simply for the fact that it had a sonar pod, that the pedal drive system could be released very, very quickly. It was light, and essentially like it was in my price range, and I really kind of liked the look of it. So, and it was very, very kind of versatile. You could put an engine in it, you could put the motor into the sonar pod if you went out and bought an engine. And so about 3 or 4 days ago, somebody posted on Facebook that they were selling this 2018 135 Radar for $1,000 less than what it cost for me to buy new. And so I really just kind of started doing my homework on the 135 about the weight difference. Could I still car top it? Was it still going to be the right kayak for me? Now, I'm a big guy, I'm 6'4", so what I was really kind of gaining was more storage space and a little bit better trackability on the boat. Now, why was the Radar kayaks, why were they on my top 3 list? Well, kind of I just mentioned this before, I car top my kayak. So that being said, I needed a rudder system that really stayed out of the way of the bottom. So when I prop my kayak on top of the car, the rudder's not hitting this. Now, everybody who knows it owns a Native or owns a Jackson or owns, you know, a Hobie. Some of the newer Hobies, they actually fold up inside, but the rudder is right here. So I would have to take off the rudder every single time in order to car top, and I really didn't want to do that because I do that with the lure right now. So to be candid with you, that was a very, very, very big reason why I actually was interested in the Radar, besides the other things that I mentioned. Now, I will do a couple things to this boat. Right now, this is just plastic. There's no foam or anything. So I will purchase a sea deck. In the center hatch right here, there's a tray. I will get a tray for this as well, directly through Wilderness. And that's pretty much what I'll do, kind of, you know, just to kind of get things going. Now, for sonar, I am actually going to be getting, and I'm walking in right now after I film this video, I'm picking up a Lowrance TI 7-inch And the screen will probably not go here, but I'll probably run it off here, but the battery and everything else will go into the sonar pod, which is very similar. You obviously seen this, if you've seen my lure videos, but love this thing. I will take it out of the water tomorrow. Just some final notes on this. I mean, this was an impulse buy by all means. However, when you have the opportunity to save $1,000 on a system that is less than 6 months old, I'd be foolish to consider, trying to wait out and buy a new one for $2,700. At the end of the day, I really did my research on this kayak prior to this deal even coming up, but then I also kind of evaluated the person that I was buying it from when I went to go there, and I asked a ton of questions. How did he tow the kayak? Thanks. How did he tow the kayak? Did he use a scupper cart? Because if somebody uses a scupper cart, I won't buy the kayak from him, simply for the fact that you crack a scupper, you're screwed. I asked him where he fished it. He fished it in the salt. I asked him, did he rinse off the drive with fresh water after he was done? He said yes. I said, did you use marine grease in the drive? Yes, I did. There's a lot of the right questions. I mean, the kayak was filthy when I picked it up, and I really don't care, and it was heavily stickered, and it took me a while to get all that stuff off. But the only real regret that I have in this whole process is that I didn't buy it from Headwaters. Now, I'm saying that because I just think Dan's customer service is fantastic. This was purchased from another kayak shop in our area. I've never dealt with them. If something goes wrong with the drive, I will go there. But my intention is to talk to Dan first, but to have Dan put in everything else that I want into this kayak. Just because I want to give Dan the business. I want to give Headwaters the business simply for the fact that they support our community better than any store in the area. So that's the only kind of regret that I have. But at the end of the day, I'm super happy with the purchase. To be candid with you, I didn't test this. I didn't have the opportunity to. That's another regret I might have down the line, but I will grow into it. I never tested the Lure 11.5, so at the end of the day, I ended up falling in love with that thing. It took me a couple months. I'm sure the same thing will happen with this, but I am the owner of a pedal drive kayak.